Hey guys, so it's time to compare the HTC One versus the Sony Xperia Z. Some people say Sony Xperia Z, but you can say, I think C is what you say in the US and UK say Z, I think. But that's just a guess. So it's time to compare the HTC Z, or no, the Sony Xperia Z versus HTC One. And this is very interesting because I've just made a video comparing the HTC One here versus the Samsung Galaxy S4. So if you want to check out that review, you can do so right now. In that video, there was a lot of good things with both phones, but in the end, for me personally, the Galaxy S4 was the winner. So this will be an interesting video here, comparing the Z versus the HTC One. This year is an interesting year because all the big smartphone guys that have released their high-end phone for 2013, HTC, Sony, and even LG has produced some pretty awesome phones. LG has produced the Optimus G Pro, but that's not a phone that I can get right now because it's not available in my region. But it is a nice phone to say. And all of these big smartphone companies is producing great phones this year, and they are all awesome. They are both they all have their great little things. So if you start off here with the price in the price by app, let's see here if we can compare the HTC One's price. So HTC has been having problems getting the HTC One out on the market, while the Xperia Z now has been available for at least a month, almost, I think over 2 months now on the market. So we can see the price here is that you can save around, you can see from a price from £400 up to £600 here on the Xperia Z, where the HTC One starts from almost £500 up to £800. So it's a little bit more expensive, 100 to 150 pounds more usually for the HTC One. One of the reasons is of course because it just came out. People have been wanting to have this now for a long time, and HTC had some problems manufacturing this device. So if we go back now, okay, just like that, and let's begin and talk about the form factor. Then we're going to check out the software a little bit, the hardware, and then some app testing. So you start off here with the form factor of these two devices. We can see that they are both kind of almost in the same size here. When we put them here on the sides, they're almost in the same size. You can see here, you get a little bit bigger screen here on the Xperia Z. You get a 5-inch display versus a 4.7-inch display here on the HTC One. And you can also see that you have the stereo speakers here in the front side on the HTC One, which they are calling the boom sound, and they are working together with Beats to bring out some great sound. So this is stereo speakers, so great sound here from the HTC One. And then you get two keys here, not on-screen keys, but virtual keys. A menu and not menu key, but a home key and a back key. And then if we check out the Sony Xperia Z here, we actually get on-screen keys instead. We have three on the screen here. We get a multitasking button, we get a home button, and then also we get a back key. And I'm not sure how Sony were thinking, but they did make the phone still kind of big here at the bottom, and it just stays there, and I think it looks weird, but that's just personal opinion, of course. And if we continue now to the sides, let's start off here with the Xperia Z here on the right side. We do have a power on button here, which they made kind of in a nice design, rounded off. One thing though that annoys me with this button is that it takes a while to turn on the screen. It feels like it's a slight delay compared to HTC One's button here that you can find on the top. So you can see when I'm turning them on at the same time here, you can see a quicker reaction here on the HTC One. And for me personally, that's nice. I find it a little bit annoying with the Sony Xperia Z that it takes a few extra seconds to load it up here. And if we look below here, we do have a volume up and down keys. And then also if we go here to the top here, we do have the option to input we have a flap here to input our SIM card, of course, so you can call people. It's a phone. Now, if you check out the HTC One here, the only thing that it has here on the side is volume up and down keys, and I'm not sure about the quality on these keys because I'm not sure if you can see that, but when you move it up and down, these tend to move a little bit. You can see also that they have a different material here, so you do notice when you go over the buttons that this is the keys here, but it doesn't point out too much, so it could be a little bit more annoying or hard to find here on the side. And then also at the design aspect here, this design is a little bit like this on the side, so it makes the phone feel a little bit bigger and bulkier. It would probably be better if they had a little bit more of a nicer rounded side here instead of a side like this. While you get a very squared hard edges here, 90-degree edges or something on the Xperia Z, which also could be a little bit annoying to have and feel in your hand than more of a rounded offside. If you look at the left side here of the phone, you don't get anything here on the HTC One, or you do get here at the top the SIM card place. You need one of those little things that you stick in here to open this one up, and of course you get it with the phone. When we look at the Xperia Z here, first we get a dock connector, so you do actually get a dock when you buy the Xperia Z. And then if you look over it, we do have our little box there to input our micro SD card, and then also we do have another one to charge the phone. And the reason why I do have these flaps is because this is not IP57 or was it 75? I think IP57 certified phone, which makes it dust and water resistant when you close the flaps, of course. Now, we also have, when we look now at the top of the phones, you can see here, you have the power button here and also the IR port on the HTC One. And then we do have the headphone jack here on the right side of both. You have to open this flap here. When we take a look at the back here, the bottom, you see that we do have the micro USB port here on the HTC One. And of course on the Xperia Z, it was here on the side. So if you take a look here now at the back side of the phones, you do have the aluminum body. This whole kind of construction on the HTC One feels extremely solid because it's like one piece of aluminum, and so it feels incredibly solid and really robust here, and has a nice little weight to it. You have the 4 megapixel ultra pixel camera. So it's 4 megapixel, yes, sounds extremely low, but HTC is saying that the pixels are bigger, so it performs a little bit better, the camera, in low light performance. And you can see this little nice design here, Beats audio, that they do work together with those to bring out the stereo boom sound that they are calling it. You get a kind of glass material on both the front and the back side of the Sony Xperia Z, and then on the sides here you get some kind of rubber material that kind of protect the phone from not moving around too much when you have it on the table, so because it sticks out a little bit here. And then on the sides here you also have some glass pieces that they do bring along. You have the 30 megapixel camera here on the back, and you can see that the design is very flat here on both sides. So interesting little thing there. I would say when you hold the phone in your hand, the HTC One definitely feels way more solid. But in terms of the button layout, it's pretty horrible on the HTC One because first this power on button is pretty hard to reach because they are located at the top side, so you have to try to reach it here a little bit. and it's a little bit annoying here for me personally. And then also that it doesn't stick out, it sticks out too much. It's a little bit weird here. And then also here on the side, the volume up and down keys, that when you move it up and down a little bit, it looks a little bit weird. It feels like it's gonna break. Hopefully it won't. But then it feels extremely solid here in the build quality. And I definitely do enjoy that it do have these keys here that's not built into the screen, because then you get more screen there. So if we now continue and check out some other cool things. So let's take a quick look here at the software. So we get Android 4.1 Jelly Bean, of course, on both these two smartphones, the latest version of Android, or one of the latest versions of Android at least. So that could be interesting to know already. Then of course you do get different skinned version of Android here. First, if we start off with the HTC One here, we do get the latest version of Sense 5.0. If we first now, let's try to just change the background here. Let's see if we can find a way to do that. So we can just go into the settings area over here. HTC backgrounds. Let's try this one. Okay, there we go. So we have HTC's Sense 5.0 on the HTC One. So if you start off here on the lock screen, you can see on the lock screen we first get 3 apps here at the bottom of the phone. And then if you want to unlock the phone, you can just swipe this little widget here to the top, where you can see the time, and also the your position and the temperature. And so that is pretty sweet. You swipe it up like this. Okay, and now we are onto my main home screen. The first thing you can do now is to check out apps. You have this like new app drawer that they have made. So you just click on this little button here in the middle, and you see all your apps, and instead of swiping like this, like you do on most phones, here you actually just go down, and if you want to search for an app, you just swipe a quick little up like this. And you also have the Google Play Store here, so you can search for an app like this. Also the keyboard in HTC One, I kind of do enjoy it, because it's pretty, it doesn't take up too much space. I like the big font that the HTC decided to use, and I like the touch sensitivity that I feel when I try to type something. And then also, of course, you can adjust here for seeing the latest things that you did install. Now, one thing here that's big, of course, in the home screens here are that with HTC One, if you do one swipe here to the left, this will be actually the default home screen. And this is a home screen that you won't. This is the home screen that you can't actually remove in the HTC One if you don't change the launcher. And you can change the launcher to a launcher like Nova Launcher, or some other launcher out there, to not having to use this home screen here. But this home screen will always be here when you swipe to the left, and it will display blink feed. It's a feature that HTC have enabled in the HTC One's latest Sense here, to check out the latest news from some of your sources that you can add. And also you can have your friend's Facebook to show up here. So if you want to customize this, you can see here I have favorite, and then I added some other websites like Engadget. So if I want to see the latest news from Engadget here, I can do so. And I can also customize these little things just by going in here, and I can quickly customize what kind of websites that I do wanted to show here. I can also add services like Facebook, Flickr, LinkedIn, Twitter, and my calendar, and the TV actually. That's pretty interesting. I have different categories here to check out news websites that I can have in my blink feed, to have a quick little look here at the latest things that's been going on here. So that's the home screen that you can't really change, and you have this widget here that you also do see on the lock screen. And then of course you do have your normal home screens here, which you can have. And if you want to customize your home screens here, you can quickly swipe like that, and then you can see here that we can add more panels, and then we can quickly add programs or widgets to the different home screens. So very easy to do that. One thing though, here when you check out the notification center, you do see an option here to save battery if you want to. You don't have any quick toggles here though, which do it is not that good probably for most people. If you want to quickly change some stuff, you can't do it right here. You have to go into the settings area here, and then you can change them. So that is how HTC Sense looks like. Also, if you want to check out the multitasking area, how you do check out multitasking, you have to double tap on this little button. And then you will see a 3x3 grid with the latest apps that you have been using. And if you want to remove something, you can quickly do it like that. I'm sure if double tapping on the home button is the best way to multitask. Also, if you hold this one in, you can see that you do get the option to see Google Now. And also, all the time when you want to go back, you just click on that little home screen. Or if you want to go back in other thing here, you can also, of course, tap on the back key. When we now take a look here at the Sony Xperia Z, which has more of an experience that's closer to the stock version of Android, you do have your normal home screens over here, just like this. And if you want to add something, you just do it like this. Let's see. There we go. And this looks also a little bit more like the normal version of Android, or the stock version of Android, I should say. You have different themes here. And it will change most of the things, of course, as a theme usually is doing. So I did change, let's change for another one. I like the way with the theme that it will change everything. Okay, there we go. I did now remember that my camera doesn't like that color. Okay, so that is how you change things easily here. You can see some lag here, and that's one of it does lag a little bit here in the menus, because it doesn't have such that of a good processor, and doesn't seem to be as optimized in the experience as you would get inside of the HTC One. And then also, if we check out the lock screen here, you don't have any quick access to some apps there at the bottom. You do have some quick access to the camera and also your music. And then also, if you swipe down from the notification center here, we can see here that we do get some quick toggles for Bluetooth, your Wi-Fi. And then if you want to go see all the settings, of course, you can just go here into the settings. And you can see that this theme also do change some things in the settings area, which I do kind of enjoy. And then also, if you want to multitask, of course, it's just easy here to do it here on the Xperia Z. And then also you can see that it do have some quick mini apps down at the bottom. You can add more. So you do have a quick little calculator, so you can dual task having a calculator up and do something else here in the background, which is a little bit cool, maybe. And of course, you also do have access to Google Now. And you know, or when you want to go back, you just tap on the little button here. So very simple here, very simple setup. When we now continue on and start to check out the hardware over here. So let's check out the hardware right now. And we will start off by saying that, of course, both these two smartphones, they are 4G smartphones. 4G, 4G, 4G. So you get good speeds. The Xperia Z, also in terms of its design, it's a little bit thinner smartphone in general. And it is, of course, a glass phone versus a aluminum phone. And this one, HTC ONE, definitely feels way more solid in its build performance. And I mean, that it has speakers on the front side, stereo speakers, really makes the design looks extremely cool here. Also, it has, the HTC ONE has a little bit more of an arch design here on the back. Has a little bit of a curve here, which can make it wobble a little bit more when you use it like this. But I think most people won't have a problem with that once they get used to it. So, glass versus aluminum. If you check out the screen here, both have an HD display, but it's a little bit smaller, as I said earlier, on the HTC ONE. The HTC ONE has a 4.7-inch screen, and it has a Super LCD 3 screen, which is having great viewing angles. Really great viewing angles here on the screen, and of course there's a higher pixels per inch than the Xperia Z because it is smaller, but really good saturation here on the screen with the LCD display. It also has Gorilla Glass 2, even though some newer phones this year it's getting Gorilla Glass 3 like the Galaxy S4. You get a 5-inch TFT screen here on the Xperia Z, and this is one of the big flaws with the Xperia Z, that the viewing angles aren't that good. Colors doesn't look as interesting on the Xperia Z as they are doing on the HTC ONE. This one also, of course, comes with Sony's Bravia engine, but overall the screen definitely is a winner for the HTC ONE. There is no doubt about that. And so let's continue now. In terms of sound, of course, as I said earlier, this one beats stereo speakers. It has a built-in amplifier as well. Of course, that is extremely nice to have. So clearly the winner there in sound is so easy here to pick one, and that is definitely the HTC ONE. If you take a look at memory here, we do actually have the SD with the Xperia Z. It's probably a little bit better because it has an SD card option. It only comes in a 16GB variant though, where you can get the HTC ONE in 32 and 64GB variants. Both phones come equipped with 2GB of RAM. If you check out the camera though, you do get a cool little feature here inside of the HTC ONE, and that is that you have a Zoe feature, which makes you be able to take around 12 pictures and also record a 3-second video out of it that you can share, of course, with your friends. So you just tap on Zoe here, and then you can quickly record a little video. So you can see now that it's moving around, and we can stop and we can decide what kind of frame that we want to share with our friends. Let's say you're trying to take a picture of your friends and someone is moving, then you can quickly here just take the one that you want to share, and that's how easy you do it. HTC is calling their this little camera inside of the HTC ONE, the Ultra Pixel one, but it comes equipped with a very poor camera for most of the things that you will do it. It's only 4 megapixel resolution. The Ultra pixels are bigger though. It's lower resolution, but pixels are bigger. But and it should perform a little bit better here than the Xperia Z, especially in low light performance. But when you're using it like a normal person, you just take a picture like this. Let's take a look at that picture. Okay, and when you zoom in, see here, Oops, I had the Zoe feature turned on. Okay, so let's just take a normal picture here. Okay, we here have a normal picture. When we zoom in on this only 4 megapixel picture, you can see that we can't zoom in anymore. And when you take normal pictures with both these two phones, when you zoom in a lot, you will see that the details are so much clearer and better on the Xperia Z here. And you can see I can't zoom in more than this on the HTC ONE. Versus when we take a picture here with the Xperia Z. Let's take a picture here. Let's see how much we can zoom in. You can see you can go extremely close here with the Xperia Z, and you can see so much more details. Also, when we take a look at the HTC ONE camera, you can see it has this classical stock version of Android almost. You can also see that the field of view, you can't see as much when you're taking pictures and video with the Xperia Z versus the HTC ONE. The HTC ONE has a really good field of view, and also the HTC ONE has optical image stabilization, so when you will record video, it will be a little bit better on the HTC ONE because optical image stabilization is better than the digital image stabilization that you get inside of the Xperia Z. So you do have some features here. In the software though, the Xperia Z here is better because it's very easy to navigate here through different various settings here, versus if we would do that on the HTC ONE, you will see that I first have to tap over here and then I have to do some more scrolling. But I definitely do I think some of the cool special effects that you get with the HTC ONE here in the camera is pretty cool and quite useful in terms of the software. You can see how we have a pixelated version, which is pretty awesome. Here we have another one that also is pretty awesome. So I think that you will use these more here because they're so cool. So I definitely do like that thing also, even though the camera at 4 megapixels, when you take normal pictures in daylight and stuff, it's really not going to be that good on the HTC ONE for most people probably. So if we continue now and check out some other stuffs, so we can see that we get, in terms of the chipset inside of these phones, we get a better one in the HTC ONE. We had a Snapdragon 600 chipset versus a Snapdragon S4 Pro chipset that we do get inside of the Xperia Z. So Snapdragon 600, it's kind of like a new version of Snapdragon S4 Pro from what I've understood. So it's a new generation chipset, and also it's clocked higher in the HTC ONE. It's clocked at 1.7 gigahertz quad core versus 1.5 gigahertz quad core here on the Xperia Z. And you can definitely notice that the kind of performance difference for me, and I think most people will notice that here when I go inside of the menus. It's a little bit laggy here on the HTC or the Xperia Z versus an extremely smooth experience here on the HTC ONE. So also now they also come with the same GPU Adreno 320. The battery also, I did take a look at GSM Arena, and when they were doing their test, you do get some great features here inside of the Xperia Z in terms of battery. Battery is the same amount of milliamps on both these two smartphones, 2330 milliamps. So when we go into the settings area of the Xperia Z, I will show you a pretty cool thing. You get a kind of cool battery stamina mode to control your battery a lot. So you have the stamina mode here, and you have a ton of things here that you can check out to save up battery. But with GSM Arena in their test, what they were seeing is that when you use your phone like a normal person, then you will have the exact same battery life on both these two phones. But when you're doing calls, you will get a few more hours on the Xperia Z in normal 3G talk time. But when you're using the display to be turned on a lot and watching videos or browsing the web, you get almost twice the performance inside of the HTC One. So it could definitely be something that you want to check out more and consider. So now if we start to take a quick little look here at some things here, let's quickly check out the browser here on both these two phones. And these two phones comes with a different browser. On the HTC One, we do get a cool browser here that is already here, built in, that HTC probably made himself or something. So you can see a quick little simplified UI here. You get a URL bar and the tab section, and then also the settings area here. So we'll be loading up the and you can also see the text reflow thing, that when we zoom in on the HTC One, it will try to reflow the text, so it will be easier to read here. And definitely very useful. It could be definitely a useful feature when you zoom in and you have a high resolution smartphone. So if I want to read this text, you can see that it easily reflows. So a nice little feature there, and no lag whatsoever when I zoom in and out. Extremely nice performance here. When we open up the browser that we do get on the Xperia Z, then it's the Google Chrome browser that you of course can download from the Play Store to the HTC One, also if you want to check it out. And also, I think that the Xperia Z's keyboard is a little bit more bulky. You can see that with the virtual or with the on-screen keys, you do get a smaller screen. That's a little bit annoying, and I definitely do believe that this keyboard is so much bulky here on the Xperia Z here versus the HTC One's keyboard. So when we go to the front page here as well. So the first thing also I can say about the display, it looks better. The Super LCD 3 display looks better here on the HTC One. White looks more white. Everything overall looks more, the colors looks more saturated and more interesting. When we zoom in here, of course we don't get any text reflow on the Xperia Z, and it could be a nice feature. You can see I can't zoom in any more than this. Let's see here. You can see also that I can zoom in way more here on the HTC One. So that could also be something that you might want to consider. And when I zoom in and out here, you can see that way better performance here in the that the graphics is getting updated quicker here on the HTC One versus the Xperia Z that has to struggle a little bit more. But not too much, of course, not too much. So if we now just quickly check out some other things, let's check out the Asphalt 7 game and see how that performs on both these two smartphones. So as I said earlier, they do share the same GPU, but they don't share the same CPU. Older generation on the Xperia Z. So let's see how it performs. And you can see these could be very annoying for some people. The on-screen keys, sometimes when you play a game, you accidentally hit them. So let's start off to play this game on the Sony Xperia Z.
Welcome to Hawaii.
So this is also one of the annoying things with the Sony Xperia Z, that is where the stereo speaker is aligned. So the stereo speaker is aligned here exactly at this place on the Xperia Z. Could be annoying because Usually I want to have my finger here, and when I have it, I can't almost hear the speaker. I'm gonna say though that the performance is very, very good here. No problems whatsoever. But it could be a little bit annoying here seeing these on-screen keys on the side of the phone. And if you accidentally would hit them, you go in there. And especially if it's a game that has buttons and everything here on the side, you could very, very easily hit these on-screen keys, and that could be a little bit annoying. The phone is getting a little bit warm here on this side. And the screen could definitely look more interesting. It really looks horrible. The viewing angle from the Xperia Z screen is really, really horrible. But the performance overall in the gaming experience is extremely good here. So now let's take a look here on the HTC One. So first of all, the sound sounds so much better. The phone, the screen looks definitely more saturated. Definitely the colors look so much better on the HTC One's display, and I really like it that I don't have these on-screen keys on the HTC One. Extremely nice. And then of course you probably get some more higher FPS here because the CPU is better on the HTC One. And I really, really love the sound, and you know that the display looks better, and that the phone feels extremely solid and have a nice kind of experience here with the device. So quickly a look there. So clearly the winner over here is the HTC One. Okay, so let's continue now. I can also see here right now that the display looks so much more brighter on the HTC One. So let's continue here. Let's go and check out pretty quick here some Kindle reading. So first of all, white looks so much better on the HTC One. Everything looks just better. Just because also it has a high resolution screen, as I said earlier, or not high resolution, but just because it's smaller, it's 4.7 inch instead of 5 inch, then you get some higher pixels per inch, even though your eyes probably won't be able to see a difference. But the big thing here definitely is that white looks so much better, and brightness is so much better here when I'm using these indoor right now. And if we continue now also and just quickly check out some benchmarking before I will sum up this video. So let's see here if we could check out some, start off with some Antutu testing. That will test the CPU, memory, and some quick little things. We shouldn't see anything super weird in the benchmark scores, but it could still be fun to do these to see what kind of performance that we do get. when I'm looking at the screens right now, the Xperia Z screen really do look like a joke. In terms of brightness, it looks really weird. So we can see a clear winner here at the CPU, the almost 11,000 in the HTC ONE. GPU seems to be around the same here on both. And let's see, the RAM also seems to be better on the HTC ONE. Also a little bit better I/O, that is reading to an SD card, I'm pretty sure. Let's also take a look at a heavy GPU benchmarking program. 3D Mark. Run this Ice Storm. Now the the benchmarking program goes quiet. I'm not sure if this is something to do with the program being weird or something, but it's a little bit random. You can also see how the menu key here, if the on-screen keys doesn't have a menu key, or you can see with HTC ONE here, some apps will, if you don't have a menu key, will show a menu key, and it will see a big fat menu key here on the HTC ONE, and we get a small little one here on the Xperia Z. You won't see this on the Samsung Galaxy S4 because there's already built-in menu key, but could be fun to know that it could look weird, really weird in some apps. And I'm a perfectionist. I don't like seeing weird things. It's like, I don't like it. Oh, I got a message. A new subscriber. Super awesome. Sea green, if you watch this video, that's super awesome. Oops. Z green, if you watch this video, that's awesome. Thanks for subscribing to my page. What videos do you want to see? Why did you subscribe to me? It's funny when you have a YouTube channel, I don't know why people subscribe. People subscribe for different reasons, of course. Some people enjoy my content. Some people saw a funny video and just want to subscribe. Okay, there we go. So we got a score now. So we got a score of 9,000 on the HTC ONE and a score of 8,500 on the Xperia Z. So you can see the GPU performance in this test. It's really not that big of a deal. You will get the same kind of gaming experience on the Xperia Z as the HTC ONE. Could be good to know. So to sum up this, which phone is going to be my baby? If I would have to pick one of these, it would easily probably be the HTC ONE. Just because, oh wow, it's getting hot here. Let's see how hot this one is. Doesn't seem as hot as the HTC ONE. But if I'm gonna pick one phone that I would pick here, then it would be the HTC ONE. It has the stereo speakers, amazing for sound, okay? Amazing. The amazing build quality there feels extremely solid. It kind of had the same time as my MacBook Pros. And yes, it doesn't have the perfect button layout. But if there's something that I don't like about phones, then it is glass. So the Xperia Z comes with glass. And also a very horrible display when you look at it from the sides. It's not as good feeling. It has weird things like this little bulky thing at the bottom. I really don't like that. Really don't like that. And this display doesn't look as good. It's extremely annoying for me. And I've never actually liked a glass back. If you would drop this device, I don't want to know what's going to happen with that device. But then we do have one big thing here, that the camera is better, so much better on the Xperia Z. If you do take, it will take pictures that you will share on other places than Facebook. And if we zoom in, and also of course on the Xperia Z we do get IP57, so dust and water resistant, which is nice, but the display really is a killer deal for me here, and I don't like the feeling of glass plus like a plastic or hard plastic here on the sides. I don't like how long time it takes to put on the display, like a delay or something. And that the display doesn't look as good in terms of colors. This one really kills it in that area. And then sure, the price here could also be a reason why you want to pick up the Xperia Z, and also the SD card option. But I don't see myself use that much. Yes, one reason also could be why you want to use this one is the little bit bigger display, but then you get these keys built into the screen. I'm not a super fan of that right now. I kind of do prefer these two that you get here, especially also in games. You won't accidentally push it. So why would I want to pick up the HTC ONE? As I already said, awesome aluminum feeling, the screen, and also the stereo speakers that you get Sony and Blink feed. The CPU is overall better. You get an IR port. In terms of durability, if you would drop the device, I actually tested the display also on the Xperia Z. You know, hack it like this, and the full display actually did break, so I didn't like that. The optical image stabilization that you get inside of the Xperia Z, I like that the menus really do look good here, look extremely solid, and if you don't like Blink feed, you can change to another launcher. But I really would like in here if you did have some quick toggles, because I use them a lot on my Samsung Galaxy S4. So quick little video here. Please leave a like if you did like this video and enjoyed it. So you can tell me your opinions in the comment section down below, and also you can tell me what next upcoming video you want to see. So until next time, just have an awesome day, and hopefully I will see you all in the next video. Yeah, peace.